Match just started with McIntyre clobbering Punk as Punk is making his entrance, from behind, of course. Now, the first match between these two at SummerSlam was a letdown. So hopefully this strap match between Punk and McIntyre in Berlin is better. Yeah, McIntyre's going after him before they even attach the leather strap. Punk's fighting back, but he only landed one punch. Now McIntyre threw him back in the ring. Now McIntyre is taking the strap. And whips CM Punk. Strap still is not attached to their wrist yet, by the way. Berlin is chanting for CM Punk. Another whipping by McIntyre with the strap. Now McIntyre just put the strap on Punk's wrist. And now the bell rings. Side Russian leg sweep by McIntyre. Now to win this match, they gotta hit all 4 turnbuckles in succession. Punk leaves the ring, but McIntyre pulls the strap and pulls Punk right into the ring apron. Now, again, McIntyre is still in control. He's been in control the whole time so far. He's whipping Punk over and over. He just hit one turnbuckle, McIntyre. He's got to hit all 4 in succession. Wow, Punk just hit the GTS. This is very early on in the match. I mean, Punk has barely had any offense. I think he hit 1 punch and now a GTS. They're outside the ring. McIntyre is standing on the announce table with Punk, looking for the future shock DDT. Punk is fighting back. Whoa, he just lifts McIntyre over the top, and McIntyre lands on the table. Table didn't break though. Punk is now whipping McIntyre. Punk is just pulling out a table. Now McIntyre's fighting back by whipping Punk. This is already a better match than their SummerSlam match just because Rollins isn't around as the referee. They just have a regular referee in this match. So now the focus is where it belongs, on Punk and McIntyre. Oh. McIntyre just slammed Punk on a steel chair in the middle of the ring, and now he's headbutting Punk. Punk is bleeding. McIntyre is setting a steel chair up in one of the corners. Probably going to throw Punk into it, or try to. Oh, well, he turned around and Punk hit him with a knee and a bulldog. Punk is pulling out another table from under the ring. Punk set it up. So now, but McIntyre rolled back in the ring. Punk is back in the ring. Claymore by McIntyre. Now let's see if he tries to actually win the match, because the commentators mentioned it. Neither of these guys has actually tried to win the match yet. They're just beating the heck out of each other, even after big moves like the GTS and other stuff. Like Michael Cole mentioned, that Punk hit a GTS and could have tried to win the match there, right there, early on, but he didn't. Now McIntyre just hit one turnbuckle, hits a second turnbuckle. Punk is down because he just got hit with a Claymore. Third turnbuckle hit. McIntyre needs one more. And Punk stopped McIntyre by jumping out of the ring and pulling on the strap so that McIntyre went headfirst into the chair that McIntyre had set up earlier in the corner. Now Punk just hit his first turnbuckle. Now Punk's trying to win the match. Second turnbuckle hit by Punk. Third turnbuckle hit. And McIntyre stopped Punk. Knee to McIntyre. Punk's looking for the bulldog, but no. McIntyre just lifted him up. He's going to put him through the table. And just put him through the table on the outside. Punk's done that a lot in his career where he'll set up a table earlier in the match and then you forget about it until it's time to actually do the spot where he goes through the table. Like he did that during a TLC match against Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam 2009. They did it really well. You completely forgot about the table, and then one of them went through it, and you just like, oh yeah, that's right, that table was set up earlier. But this time, he didn't get me. I knew that table was sitting right there, and McIntyre just put him through it. Although I gotta say one thing about WWE's production, they're telling you, oh, coming up is this match, and here's what happened earlier. Here's tonight's results. This person beat this person. They're having it pop up in the middle of this match. I don't like that. Anything that takes away attention from the match is not good, especially on a big event like this. All right, now after putting Punk through the table, McIntyre dragged him back in the ring. Now McIntyre is carrying Punk around and hitting the turnbuckles, but Punk is hitting them right after him. Now both of them have hit 3 turnbuckles. Punk is trying to stop McIntyre, but Punk is now going for the 4th turnbuckle. All right, so now everything resets because neither of them got to the 4th turnbuckle. They're punching each other back and forth. And I gotta say, I said this in their SummerSlam match, but Punk looks incredible for his age and what his body has been through in his career. He looks amazing. He's going toe-to-toe with McIntyre, who obviously he looks great too. He's quite a bit younger than Punk. Maybe not a lot younger, but quite a bit younger. And he's obviously in incredible physical condition. And Punk looks every bit as much of a threat to him as McIntyre is a threat to Punk. And that's the way it should be. Now both of them are on the mat in the middle of the ring. But this is looking like a good match. Again, better than their SummerSlam match. It's an even match. Looks like Punk has McIntyre in a sharpshooter. McIntyre's tapping out, but that doesn't count. That's not how this match works. Now, if you remember, in their SummerSlam match, Punk also had McIntyre beat by pinfall, but Rollins, who was the referee, Seth Rollins, was late getting back into the ring. And so Punk had a visual win there. Now he's having a visual win here with McIntyre tapping out, but this is not that kind of a match. I like that they make Punk look strong. You know, they didn't bring Punk back to the WWE just to have him be a doormat for everybody, because they could have done that, but they're not doing that. They know Punk is money, and Punk should be world champion at some point in the future. I expect it to happen. If he hadn't gotten injured at the Rumble, I bet he would be world champion already. McIntyre is trying to prevent Punk from hitting the turnbuckles, but Punk's got two. He's going for the third. Now, McIntyre hits a neck breaker on Punk. So now everything resets. This is a nice match. I give tremendous credit to CM Punk for still wrestling a style that is kind of a relic of a different era. You don't see the kind of matches that Punk has with other people. Like, you don't see it anywhere by anybody else in the WWE. You don't really see it in AEW unless, like, Jericho's involved. And even then, sometimes it just doesn't play out right. But I like Punk's style of wrestling, and every time Punk's in the ring, he shows that he knows what he's doing, and that less is more. You don't have to do all these fancy flips and dives and all this other sort of stuff. Punk is a master storyteller. And it's going to be a shame when he finally retires, because there's really nobody left to do that except maybe Jericho. Although Jericho's matches aren't the best these days anyway. McIntyre just hit the Claymore. And he's got that notorious bracelet on his wrist. The bracelet that has Punk's wife's name on it and Punk's dog Larry's name on it. I don't like the whole bracelet thing, but they wanted to make a whole thing about it. They wanted that to be the centerpiece of the feud for some reason. Punk hits a GTS on McIntyre. Now let's see if Punk can hit all four turnbuckles. This is a good match. This is a good match. We're almost 20 minutes into this match, and it's a good match. Definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. Punk is going for another GTS. 2 GTSs. Now, Punk hasn't hit any turnbuckles. He hits the first one. Hits number 2. Another GTS by Punk. Punk just hit the 3rd turnbuckle. Is he going to hit the 4th and put an end to this match? Because he can do it. McIntyre's out. McIntyre is out. And Punk stops. He's grabbing the strap. And he's gonna go for another GTS. McIntyre's already out. He hits another GTS. This match is over for all intents and purposes. Punk is gonna win now. We know that. But of course, he sees the bracelet. This bracelet, man. I mean, and now he's lifting the bracelet in the air. He's got the bracelet on his hand, hits the fourth turnbuckle, match is done. Now that's a good match. It was well planned, well executed. Punk looked great physically in terms of his movement and everything. And so did McIntyre, of course. That's a good match. Now McIntyre won the match at SummerSlam. Punk wins this strap match in Berlin. And we all know this is heading for Hell in a Cell. So we'll see who wins that one. I don't know who's going to win. My guess is probably Punk. Because they probably want Punk as world champion at some point. And they don't want to beat him here in this feud.